my entire life was about seeking thrills. Whether it was in church or it was outside of church, in school or in sports, the seeking thrill of scoring a goal in mountain top soccer, or even church was a thrill for me. It was the thrill of the day where I get to see old friends. I get to talk to older kids at youth group, the kids I looked up to that are now leaders in the church. It was really about seeking just whatever got my attention and got my energy levels up. Church was great on Sundays and on the occasional Wednesday when I went to youth group, but where most of my time was in school and with friends I made in school. The thrills that my friends would provide for me are the thrills that were a lot more fun than the normal thrills of what I was growing up doing because they were new. Whether it was the thrill of going to a friend's place and playing manhunt like it started, or then, cracking open a beer, or moving over to, different substances that it was, and partying. And, I started to really explore all that the world had to offer. Every time I tasted something new, I wanted to keep on going back to it and maybe even find something more. Like Adam and Eve before me, the first bite of the apple, of the fruit, convinced me that it was good. I tasted it and I was convinced that it was better for me than whatever God had provided for me. But next thing I knew, 12 years had passed. There was no one that I cared for. I barely had a relationship with my parents. It was just like all that mattered was me and my desires. So one day, I got a phone call from my mom. She didn't tell me this, but she had been praying a couple weeks now for me to kind of get a break from it all. She didn't know what. I never really was honest with her about everything, but she could just feel that something was wrong. On March 3rd, 2021, I lost my job due to failing an onboarding drug test. In a blink of an eye, in one conversation, the world that I built for myself that I was so proud of just came crumbling down underneath me. 4 years studying for a job that I had been able to work for a little bit, gone. An income that I could brag about to all my friends, gone. My identity, gone. The first thing I could do was just call the person who had been supporting me all my life, was my dad. Instead of him shaming me or saying he was disappointed or cursing me, the only thing he said was to come home. And I came home to peace. I came seeking a thrill, but this time was different. Started to get into the Word and really grow in my relationship with Jesus Christ and with God. One weekend, my friends invited me away for a trip to Philadelphia. While I was there, I knew baptisms were happening back at TLCC that Sunday. I brought it upon myself to say it was okay if I missed them. I didn't need that. But just throughout my time in Philadelphia, there was just a quiet word saying, you need to be there. You should go back. Why are you here? Fast forward till Sunday morning, around 5 a.m., that feeling has gone up about 11 notches in the volume. I can't avoid it. I end up leaving where I was staying, getting back in the car and driving straight to church. Came in the door and was just there present and watching as it all was going on. Like a kid in a candy store, I didn't know what to do. I was like, where do I go? How do I make this happen? This is very, very exciting and kind of scary, but the Holy Spirit I feel like I would have caught on fire if I didn't do it. One thing led to another. I ended up going up to be baptized, and I didn't know what I was gonna expect. I didn't know what to expect above all else, but I knew the life I had been living had been so full of chaos that if I could find peace somewhere in that water, that it would all be worth it. And the only thing I remember after coming back out was nothing but quietness and just still presence and a comforting, warm hug around me saying, you are my son and you will be with me. And the rest is history. All of my efforts had led me to death. But through baptism, I was able to die to my old self and arise and walk in the new life that the Lord had for me.